Once again, family, you are logged on and listening to webcast. What am I trying to say? I'm so excited about tonight's program. I'm getting all tongue-tied here. Black Liberation Webcasting Network. I'm Brother Ray Hagins, and if you're just logging on and tuning in, thank you for joining us wherever you are on this planet. Well, brothers and sisters, tonight we're going to be talking about something that is relatively new to yours truly. Okay, I've heard about it, but I have not done much research about it. And actually what we're going to hear tonight is from a sister, a very dynamic sister. I don't mind saying woman of God. Okay, she's an ordained minister. I'm going to let her tell you about herself, but I found her to be a dynamic sister, a very intelligent sister, and I'm so excited that she agreed to come on the air with us tonight. So we're going to be talking about something called NESARA and GESARA. Okay, but let me be sure that I have Dr. Pruitt on the line before I go running my mouth. Dr. Pruitt, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I got you, and you sound great. You're sounding good. You're sounding real good. Before we get into tonight, first of all, thank you for coming on the show tonight, making time out of your schedule to be with us to help the audience understand about what's getting ready to happen, okay, through this thing called NESARA, if it's not already happening, and GESARA. But before getting into that, Dr. Pruitt, tell us about yourself.
You're welcome. Well, I just want to say peace, family. It is my pleasure to be here. My name is Dr. Kia Pruitt, and I am what I call myself to be a light being, which just means that I come to bring light, liberation, and joy to the planet. That's what the Creator,
I like
the
that.
Creator. Yes, sir. That's what he designed me to do, and to basically to liberate the planet. When I was a young minister, my pastor had asked me one time, "What is your purpose in life?" And I, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I very timidly said, "My purpose is to liberate the planet and to liberate God's people." And I had my head down, and I knew that was my purpose, but I was very afraid to say that out loud.
Oh, are you afraid of how he was going to accept it or interpret it, or?
I did. Yeah, I did. I was.
Yeah, I can understand that, especially when you're in the rudimentary program of religion. You don't know how people are going to take what you say, especially when, you're a light being. I like that description. I really like that, But don't let me interrupt you. I'm going to make notes as you talk, and then I'll come back and comment.
Yes, because I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No.
Oftentimes when people say, "Tell me about yourself," people go right into, and I do the same as well. We go right into what we do in our careers.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But I learned early on that my career does not define me.
Teach.
What defines me is what the Creator destined me to do.
All right.
And that is what gives me pleasure, gives me joy, and resonates with people with whom I speak.
Okay.
So I am a light being, and this is my purpose to liberate the planet. In terms of my academic credentials, I have a bachelor's degree in social sciences and the social sciences. So I study economics, politics, sociology, and psychology.
Okay, now, all right, yeah.
I have a master's degree in counseling and rehabilitation, how to just basically counsel people and help them come out of their issues. And I went on after that to get credentialed in life coaching, because I found that having people just listening to people's problems and having them to talk was not serving them any justice, because I wasn't creating solutions. And I'm a solution-based person. So life coaching helps people to find solutions. So I did that. And then I got a master's degree in leadership studies, particularly because I love Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yes, one of my favorite books. Yes, one of my favorite books. Yeah.
I love him. I love the way he encourages people to take accountability for their lives and create solutions to become highly effective.
Yes.
And self-actualize. And that was in alignment with what I had learned in psychology with Abraham Maslow. So you can say I'm a humanistic psychologist because he believed that people came on the planet to maximize their potential, but sometimes they have to be encouraged, nurtured, and kind of brought through certain processes to achieve self-actualization.
Yes.
And then I received a doctorate degree in education and counseling psychology.
Come on with your bad self. Go ahead. That's
I did graduate studies in economics at Indiana Wesleyan University, which is a Christian university. All my other credentials were through Research One institutions, predominantly white institutions, and I wanted to go that route because I wanted to be challenged at a certain level.
Yes.
But I came back to my roots and studied economics in a Christian institution because that's my roots, and that's just what I was comfortable with. And what else? I guess those are all my credentials. I've done life coaching, counseling, but my I guess what I really enjoy preaching as well, all over the country and abroad. I mean, abroad and different Africa, Costa Rica, different countries.
Awesome.
But what brings me
awesome, yeah.
What brings me great pleasure is actually teaching. So after I'd done all that, I went to the school system and taught our children because they are the future, and I wanted to shape their minds. So that's a little bit about my career and my academic credentials.
I think is outstanding. I congratulate you. I applaud you on your achievements. In a very, very, very important ministry that you have. Very, very important part of your life that you didn't state is that you are a mother. You.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. I can hear the pride in your voice as you're saying yes.
That's my greatest achievement. That is my great. Can you imagine being a woman and knowing that you are the portal through which your children decided to come to
awesome?
Experience this reality?
Okay.
Oh my gosh. God bless the fruit of my womb immensely. Yes.
Awesome. Tell us something about your children, your sons, the sons and daughters, or sons or just daughters.
Yes. I have my eldest son. You've met my eldest son, I believe. Douglas is a real estate. Yes, sir. He's a real estate agent and a real estate broker. He was one of the youngest brokers and maybe even the youngest in the state of Kentucky.
Wow.
He's a real estate broker, so he owns his own business. He studied biochemistry in college, and he loves that, but, he has an entrepreneurial mindset, so he went off and did real estate, which brings him great joy. So he had to do what he felt was in alignment with his purpose.
That's right.
I admire him for that because he went against the grain because, I'm all about academics. And he did study biochemistry, but he was like, okay, Mom, now I got to do what I want to do.
That's right. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. And then my second son, he went to a major university, to the University of Louisville as well, and he studied business. And then he went on to get a business degree at a smaller university, and that's his area. Business is his area.
Okay.
And then my third son studied economics. He got his degree in economics and
awesome.
And Pan-African Studies.
Awesome.
And
I know one of your sons, if not all of them, I don't know how many went to Africa, to Ghana. You went yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
All of them.
Oh, man. Look at that.
It was an amazing experience. We would go 3 times a year. We haven't been in a couple of years, but we loved it. We loved the experience there. And we'll talk about gold a little bit later, but it opens your mind to the relevance and importance of gold. Because you're in the village, you're living on the gold mine, and it's to the African. It's just you've been. It's amazing,
Yeah, it blew my mind. I'll never forget. I was walking on the beach there in Ghana. I think I was in Elmina when I did this. At any rate, I was on the beach, and I'm looking at this stuff glittering in the sand. I'm trying to figure what is this stuff glittering in the sand, and come to find out it was gold.
Yes.
I'm walking on gold.
Okay? Yeah, right.
It's like, whoa,
it's
man.
Amazing.
Yeah. I said, whoa, you mean Ghana is rich like that with gold,
And they don't even understand our fascination with gold, like why we would kill people over it.
Right.
They live with it.
Exactly. It's so common for them that, they're so surrounded by it. It's like, okay. Yeah. Wow. Gold and oil, and I remember seeing the Chinese ships there, and getting the oil. I said, wow, everybody's raping our motherland, Yeah. Okay, well let's get back to you and this topic for tonight here, because you and I can just go on and on and on and on, talking about our motherland, our culture, our ethnicity, but you have done extensive work and research in this thing called NESARA, which is an acronym, NESARA. Okay, and I watched your YouTube clip on it, and it just blew my mind. It blew my mind, and that's why I asked if you would come on the show and share this information with my audience, because it's something that we need to know. It's really something we need to know. So, Dr. Pruitt, would you tell us about NESARA?
I sure will. Before I do that, I want to mention I have a daughter, because I don't want to leave her out.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
My daughter my daughter was the last one. She has a degree in psychology, and she is a pre-med student right now, and she got accepted to a medical school in the Caribbean.
Wonderful.
So I want to mention that, and they're all well-traveled and very, very, they inspire me, very intelligent, light beings themselves. They inspire me and educate me and actually put me on the path really to studying about gold. So I'll talk about that gold after we talk about NESARA.
Well, before going to NESARA, let me say for myself and those who are listening to you, and I'm sure will come to appreciate and love you even more by the time this program is over tonight, let me say, as they say in Ghana, Madasi Pa. Yes, Asante Sana, and in English. Thank you very much for what you are, who you are, because raising 4 children and then all of them going to school and becoming degreed, that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. So I honor you, for simply being the woman you are, the mother you are, the researcher you are, the scientist you are, the minister you are, and again, it's an honor to have you on the show tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It's actually my honor and great pleasure.
Okay. NESARA. Let's go with it.
Okay. NESARA. NESARA is an acronym for the National Economic Security and Reformation Act. The global rendition of NESARA is GESARA, GESARA, and that is the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act.
Okay, now, Doc, before you go any further, those of you out there listening, get something to write with so you can take notes.
Yeah.
Okay, this information tonight is so very important. And we're not just pulling stuff out of the air. What Dr. Pruitt is talking about, you can research it for yourself. Okay, because of course, over the last couple of days, I did some looking into it, so I wouldn't be totally ignorant when I came on the air tonight. But this stuff is so awesome, and the information is much needed. And just to hear about the relief that you're going to hear about tonight is enough to make y'all run outside your house and run up and down the block shouting hallelujah. Okay, so get something to write with and take notes. Okay, all right, Doc, as you were.
Okay, yes. So NESARA was signed into law in the year 2000. Let me tell you something that led up to NESARA.
Mm-hmm.
The farmer's claim led up to the National Economic Security and Reformation Act. What happened was a group of farmers they got tired of being mistreated by the central banking system. The central banking system was confiscating their land, giving them loans, giving them loans that with exorbitant interest rates that they could not afford. And when they couldn't pay the loans back, or they couldn't keep up with the payments, their land was confiscated.
Mm-hmm.
And if they wanted any other additional loans, they had to agree to plant Monsanto seeds, which, as most people know, is not healthy for us.
Right.
And so the farmers got tired of being mistreated. And so when they took the central banking system to court, they hired the best attorneys that they could afford. This was like in 1993. And one of my mentors was a part of the farmers' claim. So this is how I know about the farmers' claim.
Mm-hmm.
This was around 1993, and when they took the central banking system, the central banks to court, some of their attorneys were killed, some of the farmers were killed, because they didn't want this information to get out, and they didn't want they didn't want these claims to be heard in court. What happened was they took it to the highest court, and it was found that the central banking system was an unlawful corporate institution, which, some people already knew that, but now it's on record that you're an unlawful entity, and that they had used unlawful banking practices against the farmers, and the farmers won their claim.
Awesome.
Yes. Once the farmers learned the claim, it was also decided that not only had the farmers been mistreated by the unlawful central banking system, Rothschild and other Rockefeller central banking system, but so had the American people been mistreated and had unlawful practices, unlawful banking practices, usury and interest rates, that whole debt-based system. That's against the Constitution for the United States of America.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, what happened in history was you had some foreign central bankers who got together, formed a banking system, and took over the United States of America and formed a corporation called United States of America Incorporated. And they were incorporated in 1871, and they were controlling the banking system was controlling our country, and they had their own constitution called the Constitution of the United States Incorporated. It's not the Constitution for the United States Republic. So this all came out in court.
Wait a minute, before you go any further. Okay, so you're saying that this other corporation called United States of America Incorporated, that is a separate or a different organization than the United States of America?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and that's important to denote because the United States of America, our government is a republic, and we have our own constitution, but we've not been going by constitutional law. We've been going by admiralty law, statutory law, which is why we have a bunch of statutes and judgments in place and policies, and which is why we have policy enforcers or police officers.
Okay.
They are not a part of the government. They're an unlawful corporate entity. It's a private business, private business as well.
You better start some stuff up in here tonight. Okay.
I mean, we get thanks for our police officers. We have some really good police officers. That's that's no slight against them.
Yeah, well, yes.
I have police officers in my family.
I mean, I know plenty cops who are good moral people, but we're not talking about them as individuals. We're talking about the office of a law enforcement officer. That you're saying that's unconstitutional?
It's unconstitutional. And when NESARA is in place, that whole department is going to be restructured, because not only is it unconstitutional, but what happened is a lot of MS-13 gang members infiltrated our police department, which is why you have a lot of police brutality. Some of those are gang members. They're not even a part of not lawfully a part or legally a part of the brotherhood, that brotherhood.
Now,
Some of them infiltrate that system.
Did you say MS as in Mike Sierra?
I really don't know what MS stands for, honestly.
Oh, no, I just want to be sure I got the letters right. M as in Michael, S as in Sierra?
Yes.
13. MS 13. Okay, you guys out there, write this down so you can do your research, because this is deep, man. Damn. Okay. Police officers who are gang members, actually. Gang members.
Yes, some of them are gang members.
Gang members carrying a badge and a gun. Wow. I believe it. I know that's right. Okay.
And again, it's not all of them, as you know. It's not all of them. It's
not all of them. Yeah, it's not all of them. Yeah.
So, the Federal Reserve, a lot of people don't understand that the purpose of the Federal Reserve central banking system, is a part of this United States Incorporated. That was incorporated in 1871. That has its own separate constitution. But so their banking system was actually created to control the gold that's in the Grand Canyon.
Okay. Now this first time I'm hearing about gold in the Grand Canyon.
Oh my gosh! Let me give you a website to look at.
Okay.
Because I love the way this guy describes it. I've heard it from Karen Hughes. Karen's Karen. Her last name is Hughes, Hud as in dog, Es. She's on YouTube. She is a whistleblower from the World Trade Organization, I think, the WTO and IMF, they're withholding funds from the people. But Karen Hughes goes into gold in the Grand Canyon, as well as Bix Weir. Bix, B-I-X, is his first name. Weir, W-E as in Edward, I as in ice, R as in road. Bix Weir really goes into the gold at the Grand Canyon, and his website is called Road to Ruta. R-O-A-D, like the road you're traveling on, T-O, Ruta, ROOTA.com. So you go to roadtoruta.com, you scroll down, and I think it's like the second article, he'll talk about the gold that's stored in the Grand Canyon, like thousands and thousands, maybe even millions of tons that's being kept away. That information is being kept away from the American people. And Donald Trump actually proposed to open up mining in the Grand Canyon. And this is why the mainstream media talks against him so much and tries to stir up anger in the people, particularly people who are classified as black. But they try to stir up anger in everybody, because he's trying to open up the mining in the Grand Canyon in order to release that gold to distribute wealth back to the people. And every single president that's tried to do that has been denied. But he's going to prevail. He will prevail, and I know that to be a fact.
Wow. Okay, don't let me stop you. Keep going. I'm while you're talking, I just pulled up the road to Ruta, and again, family, you guys write this stuff down, because trust me, after Dr. Pruitt finishes tonight, you're gonna have enough to do some research on. So make your notes, man. Make your notes. And it's interesting because I'm looking at the site, the Road to Ruta, and it's actually talking about the stock market. And got the ticker tape thing going here, and oh man, okay.
There's a caveat about the stock market. The stock market is really based on algorithms, and people don't really understand. Some people do understand that. It's based on algorithms. It's not a real gauge of how our economy is doing. It's not based on economic algorithms. It's based on computer algorithms. So it is two separate things. And so the stock market could crash, and if it does, it's on one hand it'd be okay, because then there's going to be a new monetary system, which we'll talk about later, that's going to be implemented, which will be gold backed. On another hand, it may not be okay, which is why some of my mentors, and I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not telling people to do this, although I was a credit repair specialist, but I'm not a financial advisor at one point. Some people say, watch your retirement. You might even consider, if you can, taking some money out of your retirement and put that into gold or silver, because precious metals maintain their wealth. Maintain their value. Whereas if the stock market crashes, you just don't want your retirement to crash along with it. Now, hopefully, Donald Trump and the alliance have some type of way of protecting that. But I would just encourage people to consider precious metals. And Road to Ruta will talk about precious metals, and he talks about being taken off the gold standard and being put back on the gold standard, and how that whole story that I'm going to talk about in terms of the gold standard was actually described in a book written for children decades ago. Because the elite have a rule that whatever they do, they have to tell you. And what they'll do is they'll put it in plain sight.
Right, okay.
In books and in their movies. But it might kind of go over our heads because we're not looking for it.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's important for us to have some gold, silver. I refer to that as tangible assets.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
Just 1 minute, Dr. Ray.
Yeah.
Just 1 minute. Okay. It's important, and some people want to do E.T.s and paper gold and paper silver, paper precious metals. But the way my advisors and my mentors have always told me is, if you don't hold it, you don't own it.
I know that's right. Because I remember I bought some silver, and they tried their best to get me to let them keep it, while they just send me a piece of paper saying I own so much silver. I said, nah, I can hold it just like y'all can hold it. Okay?
Right.
Yeah,
put it in a safe or a vault of your own or somewhere safe.
That's right. Yes. Oh my goodness.
Because they have been known to raid people's assets in banks and in vaults and all different places. And then that one piece of paper, what one of my advisors taught me is, when you buy paper gold and paper silver, you think you're the only one that owns that. It could be hundreds or thousands of people that own that.
Yeah.
That piece of paper.
Yeah, I got you. And all you got in your hand is a piece of paper.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
10 other people might have a piece of paper saying the same thing about the same same lot of gold or silver. Yeah. Oh, keep on talking, girl. This is good.
So in the Grand Canyon, there are actually pyramids that people may not know about. And when they took us off the gold standard, they shut down the hiking in that area. So they don't want people to know about those pyramids.
Okay.
One pyramid, they have several pyramids, and they're named after, like, Egyptian pyramids. And in the bottom of those pyramids is thousands of tons of gold.
Wow.
And Big Sweer talks about that at roadtoruta.com.
Okay.
Okay, so let me get back to NESARA, the National Economic Security and Reformation Act. So, sorry, one of my sons.
That's okay.
I also have children, extended family, and children from other countries, all kind of people around me. So when the farmers took the central banking system to court, they won their claim. And they were told at that time in 1993 that that the alliance will be formed, and an alliance called the White Hats of the military came down and talked to the farmers and told the farmers that they had formed an alliance to take down the Federal Reserve banking system and the United States Corporation.
Okay.
And they said when that happens, the Republic will be restored, and so will the gold standard. And the farmers said, well, we don't want to be paid in fiat or these dollars. We want to be paid in gold.
Mm-hmm.
If we won this case, we want to be paid in real constitutional money. And the Constitution defines money as gold and silver.
Teach.
So the fiat.
Teach.
Mm-hmm. The fiat or the paper, the greenbacks that we have right now, as a matter of fact, you see a pyramid on the base, you see a pyramid on the back of the dollar. One of those is the pyramid that represents the pyramid in the Grand Canyon, Big Swear would tell you. But that's just paper. It is currency. It is not money.
Okay, that's a good way to say it. It's currency and not money. In other words, as currency is simply a form of exchange.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Thank you for that. So the farmer said, well, we want to be paid in gold. So they told the White Hats of the military, we can wait till you dismantle the central banking system and pay us in gold. And so the farmers' claims led into NESARA, the National Economic Security and Reformation Act.
Okay.
Yes. Now, there are 17 or 18 points of NESARA, but what happened was the White Hats of the military were trying to get this act along, the White Hats of the military along with, this is a benevolent faction of the military, along with white knights. They aligned themselves with these people. They aligned themselves with people called global white knights. Now, white knights are people from all over the globe who also wanted sovereignty from the central banking system and from the corporations that were set up in their individual countries, which we call today the deep state, the cabal, the deep state, the corporations, the corporate entities that control different countries, and said, if you don't take on our central banking system, then we will kill your leader, devalue your currency, and basically bring you to your knees.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then, there's even a shadow beyond those people that were put in place, but that, that's a little deeper.
Okay.
So the White Hats of the military and the NESARA White Knights wanted to get this act passed into law.
Mm-hmm.
But no president would do it.
Okay.
So the military, being the military that they are, I love our military. I love them. I'm so grateful for every one of you who have served in the military. Thank you so much for putting your lives on the line for our freedom and to help the American people. I appreciate you. They stormed into the White House in the year 2000, and they forced President Clinton to sign the act into law at gunpoint.
Okay.
Of course, he didn't want to do it, of course, but he did it. I mean, you got the military there. What you gonna do?
Right. Okay.
And the military, the secret space program has an alliance with the Galactic Federation. The Galactic Federation is like intergalactic beings and galactic beings that have had allegiances with presidents. So the secret space program is working with the White Hats of the military and the NESARA White Knights. And the secret space program is also, guarding the gold that's at the Grand Canyon. And Big Swear would talk about the secret space program. And that's why Donald Trump put a lot of money in the secret space program.
Wow. Now, something that you say this because one of the things that I always do when I give a lecture as I start my lecture out, and those of you out there listening, you may want to do that now, make a circle with your hands and say the space inside this circle represents my realm of knowledge. All that I think I know about whatever I think I know is represented right here inside this circle. I must keep in mind that there is more to know than what is within the circumference of my awareness. Now it's time for me to practice what I've been preaching. Okay, about that circle, because I believe it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had a sister to call in, and she said she was a galactic. And I think that's what she said. She was a galactic. And I said, okay, sister, what do you mean? Because when you say galactic, in my head, I'm thinking like what you just said. You know, the galactic, what did you just describe it as?
The Galactic Federation, the
Galactic Federation. I mean, you know, of course, I'm used to hearing stuff like that from Star Trek or something like that, you know, which I, of course, interpret that as fiction. But now I'm hearing you say it. So if I'm not going too far off into another field, kind of briefly enlighten me and others about this galactic thing.
Galactic Federation.
Galactic Federation. And of course I'm holding up my circle as you say it, so I can expand my circle here. Okay.
Yeah.
But so there is some legitimacy to this the galactic concept.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, the Bible talks about the Nephilim.
Yes, that's true.
And if my memory serves me correct, the Nephilim were the angels that came down and mated with the daughters of men on earth and created the giants.
Created the giants, and therefore the giants were referred to as the Nephilim. That's correct.
Nephilim. Okay. Now, when you read some of the older texts, they talk about the Nephilim as well, and they talk about other beings. And they talk about the Anunnaki, the Dracons, the reptilians. I mean, it's so many of them, the Palladians. So some of these, some people call them angels, and some people call them extraterrestrial. Some people just call them, beings, interplanetary or extraplanetary beings. Some of them have made contact through the years with our presidents.
Okay.
And when they came to Earth, some of them came to Earth to mate with the women, but some of them also came to Earth to take the resources from the planet.
Okay.
To take the resources from the planet. There's a text. The Sumerian text talk about the Anunnaki. The Sumerian text allegedly predates the Bible. I'm saying allegedly, because I don't know. That's what they say.
Well, the Sumerian text would have to predate the Bible because the Bible ain't but none but a couple hundred years old, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are claims that it's older, but we don't have anything published. I see. You see what I'm saying? Only thing that I know that's older, of course, is the ancient Kemetic text, and that's only because it's written in stone.
I see.
You see, written in stone. But let me not be the teacher now. You're the teacher right now, so you go ahead.
Okay. And I don't want to go too deep into it because sometimes,
Girl, go deep. Go ahead.
Okay.
Just go as deep as you want to go to, Like I said, just everybody take notes so you can do your research, hey, go as deep as you feel you need to go,
Okay. The Sumerian texts talk about the Anunnaki coming to the planet because their planet Nibiru needed gold. And as people know, gold has a high vibration. The gold heals. You can ingest certain types of gold, like monatomic gold. Gold heals. Gold raises your vibration. Gold resembles your crown chakra and ascending to higher states of consciousness. And that is what Corona is. Corona is code word, a banking code for the elite and the interpretation of that is gold, the golden rays of the sun, the crown chakra, the fact that we're all ascending to a golden era. So they shouldn't be calling the COVID-19 the corona. Now, they'll use it interchangeably to confuse the people, but when you understand how the elite move, and you know that they're actually speaking to each other in codes about this gold standard. That's why, the gold corona coming from China, the gold coming from China to help liberate the planet. Now, COVID-19 was actually created in a lab and unleashed to make the people sick and to kill off people, depopulate the planet. But the alliance is using that as an opportunity while we're in our houses to make mass arrests of these nefarious beings and people who have enslaved the planet, to make mass arrests and to institute a lawful, constitutional, more fair banking system. But that's an aside.
Okay.
Okay, so the Sumerian texts talk about the Anunnaki coming to mine gold. So, different texts talk about these galactic beings, and even what's the show you said? Star Wars. All those Star Wars, the galactic stuff of the galaxy, they're telling you. They're telling you, the elite is telling you what's actually happening on the planet and in the universe.
Okay.
Because, again, they have to tell you what's going on, but, it's up to us to really do the research or to, pray and meditate and ask the Creator if this is true, and also to, confirm whether or not it's true.
Yeah.
So if you remember on July 4th, I think it was last year, and it might have been the year before that, Donald Trump, a lot of people it just went past their realm of understanding.
Okay.
The mainstream media said he's crazy, he's not making any sense. But he said our military has secured the skies, has done all they could to secure the skies.
He sure did say that.
Mm-hmm. And people are like, oh, he's crazy. What is he talking about? What he was saying was our military was taking out these malevolent beings that had controlled the planet and their human hybrids that was controlling the planet. Because a lot of these people that's in place, a lot of these presidents are not human. They're either these other beings or they're hybrids of these beings.
Okay.
He said, we're taking them off the planet, and we closed the portals so that we could secure the skies to make sure that these beings will not enter back into the planet. And I know this because I have contacts in the military.
Okay.
Who, and then also somebody might ask somebody I don't know if your audience knows about Q.
Q. Like the letter Q in Quebec?
The letter Q.
Okay.
If you go to qmap.pub, QMAP.P as in pretty UB, you will see a lot of intel that people with the Q clearance has been disseminating to the people since October, I think it was like the 19th, 2017. And I was really fortunate and blessed enough to see the first post that Q and these people with the high clearance gave us to let us know what was going on in the United States and in the world.
Okay, let's do that. Q map. Spell that out again now.
Q as in Queen, map, MAP .pub, .PUB.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so you can go. Go ahead.
I'm sitting in class tonight. This is good. Yeah, okay.
So Jordan Maxwell, I think his name is
I'm very familiar with Jordan Maxwell.
No, I don't think it's Jordan Maxwell. I don't think that's the one I'm thinking of. There's a YouTube channel.
Are you
where
talking? Who's the other?
His name is Jordan, but I can't think of it's not Maxwell. I'm mixing them up. But this guy, Destroying the Illusions is his YouTube channel. Destroying the Illusions on YouTube. He breaks down Q drops. He breaks down the post that Q puts up. And his first post again, was in October 2017. And that's when he told us about the triangle of power that was ruling the planet. It was George Soros, the Rothschilds, and that clan, and the Saudi princess, the House of Saud.
Okay.
George Soros funded Black Lives Matter and Antifa and all these so-called vigilant groups. He funds it in order to cause racial division, to keep people angry and fighting against each other. While we're up here talking about, I hate white people, I hate black people, I hate Democrats, I hate Republicans, we are missing the fact that there are nefarious people and beings that's controlling the planet, keeping us fighting and angry, so that we don't see that we're all, in their eyesight, all of us were slaves.
Okay.
Bottom feeders didn't matter, and that's why they were trying to commit genocide. Now, once they had gotten the people who classified themselves as black or the indigenous people, just oppress them as low as they could oppress them, then they were going to go and do the same to the other people. So George Soros, the House of Saud, they owned a lot of property in Las Vegas, Nevada, in those, what do you call that? Those things, what do they have in Las Vegas?
Casinos?
Yes, the casinos. They owned a lot of that, and what was going on through there was a lot of child sex trafficking.
Okay.
And then the Rothschild. And so the House of Saud has been taken out. Rothschild is being dismantled currently, and George Soros, his whole clan is being dismantled currently. So that was the triangle of power, and Q told us about that in October of 2017. And he started off on 8chan, I think, and then he started off on 4chan, then he went to 8chan, and then they went to qmap.pub. And the word is that's actually JFK Jr., who faked his death, by the way, and who was great friends with Donald Trump. JFK Jr. and or his family, that's who's actually the QAnons that are dropping this information for the people, the American people, and the people to understand what's going on behind the scenes.
Wow. This dude, Jordan, is it Jordan Sather or Sather?
Jordan Sather, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
He has a Facebook page, and he has a YouTube channel. That this young man is dynamic. Dynamic. I've been following him for a few years now. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this information and even about the galactics is because it was a few years ago. I had, we believe in dreams and visions coming from the church. And I had a dream. In my dream, a group of beings came to me, and they looked like me. They were melanated. They had on white robes, and some of them had dreadlocks, and they had their head wrapped up in, like a white head wrap. And they were full of joy. Like my whole body started vibrating while I was asleep. And the female, I guess I would call her the leader or the representative, stepped forward, and she said to me, "Stop worrying about the New World Order. The New World Order will no longer exist. We are," she said, "we are the Falcons, and we are here to liberate the planet. We are dismantling everything that you've heard about the New World Order. We're taking apart all the structures that have enslaved the people, and we are installing a new reality for the planet."
Wow.
And they said, to me, raise your vibrations. Raise your vibrations by whatever brings you joy. Focus on that. And it brought to my mind the scripture that said, whatsoever is beautiful, whatsoever is good report, whatsoever is pleasant, something like that. Think on these things.
Yeah.
And she said, raise your vibrations, because we will use that energy to liberate the planet. And then she gave me other instructions. And when she gave me those instructions, she was telling me what was going on behind the scenes. And when I woke up, the spirit or the ancestors, something greater than me led me to information, and I just started writing about it and posting about it. And then people in the military and people who were part of the Q team and people who were raiding the DUMBs or the deep underground military bases to dismantle child sex trafficking rings and were saving the children. They started aligning themselves with me and saying, what you're saying is true. The dreams you had is real. The vision of the galactic beings are here because we're working with them.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm getting chills.
I was going to say, be careful now. You're going to start feeling something in a minute. I can hear it in your voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the reason why it's important to raise our vibrations, turn off the television, because the mainstream media was created by the CIA in order to create propaganda to control the minds of the people.
Now that I believe that. Now, in fact, I know that. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And they had a law passed that they can lie to the people.
Okay.
To benefit, for their benefit.
Yeah.
So you have to, if you're going to watch it, just watch it knowing that they may be lying to you, and they probably are.
Right.
I would say turn off the television, focus on the things that are lovely, focus on joy. Whatever gives you joy, do that, and do it as often as possible. Watch what you eat. You don't want to eat a lot of dead flesh. If you must eat meat, be careful about the type of meat you eat. Eat raw fruits and vegetables. That's another thing that they, when I had a visitation before, they told me eat lots of raw fruits and vegetables and water. Drink a lot of water because that raises your vibration.
Yes.
And the reason why I say this is because if your vibrations are low, then it's easy for the music, the media, the things that they do in Hollywood, which Hollywood was also created by the CIA to control people through the idols. That's why the Bible told us not to have idols, because they get on TV and tell us that something is real and we should try to persuade our thinking. And then you get angry because you keep hearing about, all this stuff is going on in the media. These people are racist. This is happening, all this discrimination. Then what happens is that your vibrations are low, and then you emanate, or something comes from your body and your essence called loosh, Loosh. And this loosh, this angry energy, is what feeds the malevolent beings that are on the planet. Just like your praise feeds God, just like your exaltation feeds the Creator and exalts the Creator, just like praise exalts your child, just like praise from a woman in her feminine essence highly stimulates her husband, this negative energy called loosh
teach.
feeds those malevolent beings. So you can find out more. The beings taught me that, and then they led me to this channel called The Positive Side of 2012. And Tom, I don't know what Tom's last name is, but he talks about these beings that had taken over the planet and the loosh that would emanate from our body and how they would eat that. So,
in fact, of course, since you said it, I pulled it up as you were talking, and it's loosh, Loosh, is the psychic, emotional, chemical energy that is emitted by beings who are suffering and tormented. It gives those who tap into it an intense erotic high that is extremely addictive. Wow. Wow. The problem of loosh. Okay.
So we have to be mindful. Especially people who classify as black or indigenous people, really everybody. When they talk on TV about racially motivated things, or this person killed that person. First of all, we don't have all the facts, so don't jump to conclusions.
Teach.
Now, unless you were there, you don't know what happened. You don't know if somebody stole something. First of all, you don't know if it's real.
Teach.
You don't know because Hollywood very good at productions, and they have crisis actors that are paid money.
That's right. Teach.
To pretend like they're killing people.
Teach.
To stage what's called a false flag event.
That's right.
In order to get people angry, full of hatred and violence, so that these beings can feed off your loosh.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying that racism doesn't exist. I'm not saying that discrimination doesn't exist. I'm not saying that violence doesn't exist.
Yeah, I got you.
What I'm saying is control your reality.
Teach.
Jesus said that you're God. Ye are gods.
Yeah.
If you're God, create your own reality. A lot of stuff that people experience, I don't experience it in my reality.
Right. I got you. I'm here with you.
You feel me? Because I don't focus on it. Right. Whatever you think about and focus on, manifest.
Yes.
And multiply.
That's right. Teach.
And also keep in mind that George Soros and some of these elite billionaires that people love and worship fund Black Lives Matter, fund Tea Party, fund Antifa to get people marching in the streets. But people up here marching in the streets don't even know what in the world they marching about. I run with this person, hold my hands up, don't shoot. You don't know what happened.
Teach, sister, teach.
And even if you do, pray. Pray, send positive energy, love on the family, control what's going on in your mind, your reality with your children. I'm a teacher. Control your children. A lot of people, the school is racist. The school, they won't let my children wear their natural hair. Okay, well, now the school gave the kids back to you, and now you can train your children.
All right.
But a lot of people are angry now that they have to be home with their children because they don't like what they created.
Right. I got you.
Okay. I went off on a tangent.
No. You're talking good. You see what you're doing right now. I call that ministering. You see? Okay. When you flow like that, you go right ahead. You just go in and minister. Okay. Teach.
So I don't want to upset people. I just want to say we have to be mindful that the media will allow things, either they will drum it up, or even if it's sometimes a lot of these things sometimes is real, it really happened, but you don't have all the facts, and they'll only tell you one side of the facts.
There you go.
You know, and when you're in law enforcement, or you have family that's in law enforcement, you understand that, you know what I mean, that all the facts haven't been out, and you also understand there are certain laws in place, certain stand your ground laws, certain civilian, people can make civilian arrests. And I'm not saying people have a right to die, whatever happened, they should have died. All I'm saying is be mindful
there you go, sister.
of what the media will do to control your emotions, to get you to emanate loose, to feed these beings that are controlling or had been controlling the planet.
Yeah, you needed to say that. Ooh. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Now, the scripture said, if my people, which are called by my name, will humble themselves and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and heal their land. And I, Kia Pruitt, is coming to you today to tell you that the Creator has heard our cry and is healing our land. Turn off the television, because they're going to tell you lies that contradict what the scripture has said to us.
Teach. Yes. Oh, this is good. Teach.
Yes, sir. So,
yeah, girl.
Back to these benevolent beings that are on the planet to liberate the planet. When that happened to me, and I started getting visitations, I started levitating, and I started just things started happening in my reality. The Creator sent me and aligned me to different people who also were galactic contactees.
Okay.
And these people, I would encourage you to go to Willie Collins' website, which is called Willie'sTruthCall.com, WILLIES, truthcall.com. Willie talks about his experience with the being contacted by the Galactics, and he also has a truth call that talks about NESARA GESARA, the global currency reset, and a lot of things I'm talking about. He'll talk about the Washita Empress and how a lot of us that think we came from the motherland of Africa actually came right here from America. And how America, it was actually the first Egypt, and that's why there's so many pyramids here, about how the Washita Princess, Washita, and I'll talk about her later, but Washita Empress made the United Nations recognize us as the oldest indigenous people on the planet, and also demanded that they pay us $85 quadrillion once we return to the gold standard.
Wow.
And so when people talk about, we need reparations, oh, the Democrats want to have reparations, and I'm thinking that's going to happen anyway because the Washita Empress of the Moors, or the Black Americans, already won her case against the deep state or the United States Corporation and said, tell the truth that most of my people was already born on this land, which is why we heard I got Indian in my family.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And tell the truth that you guys need to write down. My friend Taj Bay, who's probably on his car right now, taught me about a lot of this stuff that I'm saying about the Moors. Tell the truth about Walter Plecker. He taught me about Walter Plecker. Walter Plecker was a part, Walter, W-A-L-T-E-R, Plecker, P-L-E-C-K-E-R, was a part of the United Census Bureau that changed the original people, the American people designation from indigenous and Native American. He changed the designation of these people to colored, then to Negro, then to black, and then later on our designation was changed to African American. And allegedly Jesse Jackson holds the rights to that title, African American, because he was charged with coming up with another name.
Wow.
So the story now, when you with the truth, with some type of Truth and Information Act, people can go to Washington and actually dig into the canons and find records. I did my own. My son actually hired somebody to do our genealogy, and what I discovered is that my people never were slaves on my mother or my father's side. They didn't come from Africa. And I'm not saying we never came from Africa, but like as far as we can search back, we came from America.
Okay.
America is Africa. It's called Northwest Africa, or Turtle Island, or the land of the Moors, Amorica. And what actually happened was a lot of us were enslaved in America and then shipped to Europe and then shipped to Africa and then shipped back to America and classified as African slaves. But most of us, that's why so many of us here in the Caribbean, most of us are indigenous to the Americas.
Okay.
And that's why the 1828 Webster's definition of American is the copper-colored people found by the colonists in America, now applied to Europeans.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that I'm not saying that everybody didn't come from,
no, I got you. I got you. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, I want to be sure the spelling. Walter Plecker, P-L-E-C-K-E-R.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yep. I pulled it up already, and I'm just making notes. And as you're saying, I'm validating what you're saying by just pulling it up. I'll read all this later. But man. Okay. Yeah, girl.
Now, all this information has been hidden, but it has been hidden, but it will come out during what's called disclosure. And we're about to enter into the disclosure period after the deep state, or those people that's been controlling the United States and the planet. After that's totally dismantled. And by the way, Donald Trump was recruited by the white hats of the military and the NESARA white knights to dismantle or take down the deep state. And that's why they hate him so much. And that's why they did the Russia gate, we got to impeach him and all this stuff because they want to stop him from what he's doing.
Okay. Okay. So now let me ask a question here.
Okay.
So be sure I'm following you correctly. In other words, and I'm translating what I heard you just say. So what I just heard you to say is that actually Donald Trump was his being put in place as president is a good thing.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I know that a lot of y'all out there ain't going to agree with that because we've been hearing so much negative stuff about Donald Trump. But then again, you're letting us know that all of the negative influence and information that we're receiving about Donald Trump is coming from these controllers.
Exactly.
Am I correct?
And that's why he keeps saying yes, and that's why he says the media is the enemy of the people, and he keeps saying fake news. They twist his words.
He sure does. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They take excerpts from what he says. You know, they don't talk about the executive orders that he put in place to make banking systems Basel III and Basel IV compliant. They don't talk about how he created the First Step Act, which let out a lot of people from prison who had nonviolent records, and most of them were black males. They don't talk about how he released a lot of black males. See, they don't talk about that.
No, you sure don't. Mm-mm.
They don't talk about how he's always said he's going to return us to the gold standard. They don't talk about how he met with Kim Jong-un, and then now they'll say he did that, but he said this in his speech. He said this is the first step towards peace between these two nations, which will lead to world peace. They won't tell you, they won't highlight that because they don't want you to know that 209 countries already agreed behind the scenes to world peace, to becoming sovereign, to no wars, which is why you haven't seen any wars in Donald Trump's presidency and administration. And they all agreed to return to the gold standard. 209 countries. And when you know this information, then you can Google, is Iraq gold back? And you will see Iraq currency is now gold back, which you know why that's important. That's between you and me. Right?
Yeah. I'm glad to hear that.
Okay. Okay.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah.
Now that the Patriots are in control of Google, and, you know, the alliance is in control of Google and not, you know, those nefarious people, your Rockefellers, Rothschild, Bill Gates, who Bill Gates is to commit genocide through immunizations, and your all those other billionaires. They're not in control anymore. The Patriots are in control. So you can see Iraq. You can just Google right now, is Iraqi currency go back?
Now, you know I'm sitting here doing that.
Hello?
You know I want to know that, okay? Oh, shit.
Okay. And while we're talking about Iraq, tell me why Vietnam, who we bombed at one point, is doing extremely well right now in the middle of a worldwide pandemic and everybody else is struggling. Yeah, okay? So read between the lines on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I got off.
Look at that. Iraqi dinar is backed by gold now. Girl, don't make me leave you here on this mic on the air by yourself while I run outside and start jumping up and down.
Now, Google 12 states that are now 12 states where gold is legal tender.
12 states where gold,
something like that,
is legal.
Because if people don't believe me when I say we're about to return to the gold standard and we're actually going to be trading with gold and silver, they don't tell you that Zimbabwe talks about being gold back. Let
me read it. Louisiana, Utah, and Texas have passed legislation recognizing gold and silver as legal tender. A move that allows citizens to make transactions using precious metals in place of cash. Go on, girl. Educate us. Teach us. Teach.
Do you see the other states that they have either passed legislation or it's up for legislation?
Let me see here.
Does it have that one?
Let me enlarge the map here. It says...
down further below the map. It might be below the map.
Arizona, Utah, Wyoming, Texas, Oklahoma, Kentucky. I'm sorry, Kansas. I ain't got my glasses on here. Missouri, Louisiana, Tennessee, Indiana, and South Carolina.
I say.
Look at that, man. Oh, yeah. Oh.
And the mainstream media would not tell you about H.R. 5404, which is to define the dollar as a fixed weight of gold.
H.R. what? 54?
5404.
I ain't even finished typing it. It popped right up. The return to a gold-backed U.S. dollar. Get out of here. Look at here. Go on here.
See, that's why it's important not to listen to the media. I'm trying to raise everybody's eye, and I'm not trying. I am raising everybody's vibrations right now.
You sure enough
by giving us
mine.
the good news. The good news. Donald Trump was recruited to take down the United States Incorporated. Now, why was he recruited? He's an expert in bankruptcy. He's a businessman, an economist, and he also went to military school. And he cannot be controlled by the bloodline that's been controlling this country for a very long time.
Yeah.
In fact, he says, I'm a nationalist. Black people people classify themselves as black. Oh my God, he said I'm a nationalist. That means he's a white supremacist. First of all, you shouldn't be saying white supremacy because there's nobody that's more supreme than you. So I don't know why you would give that way your power like that.
There you go.
Words cast spells.
Teach.
So if you saying somebody has more, that's why they say spelling. They cast spells. If you say somebody has more supremacy than you're making yourself, to somebody else.
Yeah. Oh man, HR 54 115th Congress, 2017 to 2018, to define the dollar as a fixed weight of gold. Look at that, man.
Which is why Donald Trump said, I'm nominate Dr. Judy Shelton to be over the Federal Reserve because she is a strong proponent of gold. Like there is no question. You Google her or put her on YouTube, and I have to send you. She did an excellent interview about why it's important to have a gold standard. He said, I'm going to nominate her. She's an economist.
Wow.
Now, what a lot of people also don't know is that the Federal Reserve and the IRS, which are unlawful corporate entities, were actually merged into the United States Department of Treasury.
Okay.
And I send you that article.
Okay.
And the reason why that's important to know is because the IRS is unlawful, so they've been taxing people. That's against the Constitution. You are not allowed to tax the people. Before we had income taxes, we had tariffs on other countries. So when people was like, Donald Trump shouldn't be putting tariffs on China, oh my God, and I'm like, would you rather he tax the people? Because what he's doing is dismantling the IRS and taxing these countries that should be taxed for doing business with us. What in the world? And when you look at the Secretary of State, you can Google that. The Secretary of State, Pompeo, spoke to the governors at the governors' conference. Secretary of State Pompeo is an ex-CIA director. What he said at the governor's conference that a lot of people didn't understand in February 8th, 2020, earlier this year, was, look, I'm speaking to all you 50. I'm going to put it in plain English, maybe a little slang in there.
That's okay.
I'm speaking to all you 50 governors that's over this, your state. I'm letting you know right now that I understand that you sold out your state to China, to communist China, to Communist Party China. I'm not saying the country is bad. I'm saying there's a deep state or nefarious corporation within China that's controlling China just like it's everywhere else.
Right.
He said you sold out your state to China. You got people in your universities, people in government that work for China who is spying on this country and selling out everything and all of your information and all of your whole state to communist China. I see you. And not only do I see you, but I looked at China's record on each and every one of you, and all of you have been rated on a scale of 1 to 10 of how compliant you are with communist China. Now that I have this information, I expect that you're going to do what's right.
All right.
It's important to say that. It's important to know that because a lot of these people were working against the American people and selling out their state to other countries, which is why Donald Trump said, you all have been doing these, all these other administrations before me have been doing unfair trade, selling out all of our corporations abroad, doing things so they can all go abroad, selling out our states. And I live in California, so I know how the Chinese came into California and bought up all the property. They spent millions of dollars on a house that wasn't even worth $100,000 so that they can bring their people to live in those areas and push the people out. So I live there. I know I'm talking what I know. what I experienced.
Okay.
So when he says, I am going to put tariffs on China, he's doing what other countries do. You tax them. Oh, we're going to have to keep talking and going back and forth until we can come up with a trade deal. Now, what the nefarious beings did is they stopped those tariffs and they start taxing the American people, which is unlawful.
Okay.
So Donald Trump is currently, now I don't know I can't remember which House resolution that is, but there is one that dismantles the IRS. I wish I could think, and you might be able to Google it. Dismantles the IRS.
Okay.
So it's important. And let me tell you, I have proof that it's happening because my son, my sister, family members, friends have gotten money back that they paid to the IRS, and it didn't come from the IRS. The money came from the United States Department of Treasury.
Wow.
Because every one of you that have paid money to the IRS, now that the IRS is being dismantled, and I knew they were going to be dismantled, because the Creator allowed me to get in contact with this woman named Becky, whose husband worked high up in the IRS, and he knew that it was being dismantled.
Mm-hmm.
So it's unlawful. It has to be dismantled, and then all of the duties of the money is being funneled into the United States Department of Treasury, because that is what the Constitution mandates. No corporate entity should be taxing people, and this is why people get mad at rich people. The rich don't get taxed; they understand the law.
Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
They understand. They don't. People say, "Oh, it's not. You're not showing your tax records." They don't have to.
Right.
There's three types of income. There's earned income, passive income, and portfolio.
Yep.
If you don't have gold and silver, you probably don't have a portfolio or hard assets. So you don't even understand truly how the rich get away without paying taxes, because paying taxes is really something that you volunteer to do.
That's right. That's right. Teach.
So it's being dismantled, and all the monetary duties are going to come out of the United States Treasury Department, and I can send you an article.
Please do.
That confirms that.
Goodness.
Okay.
Yeah. So you. In fact, we were talking earlier. I don't want to miss anything here, but oh my goodness, you was talking about how the whole thing of NESARA is the discharge and cancellation of all debt.
All debt.
All credit card debt, mortgages, you name it. That's ooh.
So now that announcement, once Bill Clinton signed it into law, it was supposed to come from the Pentagon in September of 2001.
Okay.
What happened? September 11th, 9/11. September 11th. They moved the gold out of the World Trade Center, out of the towers.
Okay, connect these dots, girl. Go ahead. Connect these dots. Go ahead.
They moved the gold, and certain people who were alerted to this mysteriously weren't there. They imploded the towers, and they hit the Pentagon, because the announcement was supposed to come from the Pentagon. And that held back this announcement of NESARA and the sovereignty and the freedom of the people being implemented and announced.
Wow.
And remember, these elite people, both the benevolent and malevolent, the good side and the bad side, they operate using numerology. And 9/11, they would have chosen, it makes sense that they would have chosen that date to make the announcement, because 11 is a portal. It's a doorway. It's a master number. And it represents coming from one point into your existence, walking into newness of life. So that would have been a beautiful day to make this announcement. But instead, the nefarious beings, the Bushes who were in control at that time, did away with they blew up, imploded the tower.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the Bushes, a lot of these people, these elite people, received a notification at George Bush Sr.'s funeral. And some people break that down on YouTube, that they were getting notices that they were going to Guantanamo Bay. So a lot of them are either have been arrested or are currently being arrested. And what you see right now is computer-generated graphics of them on the screen. So it's not necessarily them, or it's an actor or a clone or whatever. And by the way, clones are real. They made them in those deep underground military bases. And that's why some people are feeling what you call those explosions. They think they're experiencing earthquakes, but right now the military is exploding those deep underground military bases where they were child sex trafficking, human trafficking, creating clones and all that kind of stuff. So,
wow.
Okay, back to NESARA. So,
oh my goodness, and a very good friend of mine, one of our pastors in Memphis, just sent me a text. And oh my God, powerful information, Doc. Yeah, yeah, it sure is. Red Wing is very powerful, brother. It sounds like deliverance. Deliverance is here, Doc.
Deliverance is here, saints.
Oh,
so yes, sir. So. Now, NESARA will be announced. I don't know if people remember. I think it was like October the 2nd, 2018. I think it was 2018. Yes, because 2 plus 1, 8, 9, 10, 2 plus. See, it's important to understand the reason why I have it. We had an emergency presidential alert on our phones and computers and things. It was like, this is just a test. It's a presidential test of the presidential emergency broadcasting system. The reason why there was a test, and it would happen in 2018, you add up, 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 8, you get 11. So it makes sense that they did it in that year. They did that because there's one, just in case the white hats of the military has not taken total control of the media once they dismantle a great portion of these beings that are in control of that have been controlling the people. The president is going to bypass all that and make an announcement that the republic has been restored and make an announcement about NESARA. And it's important that that announcement will then ensure our sovereignty, our freedom, and our prosperity and our wealth. So now I can get into what those benefits are.
Yes, and no more bills to pay, huh?
No more bills to pay. If you go to YouTube and put in Kia Pruitt and go to one of my videos to say that the benefits, say something about the NESARA, the beautiful benefits of NESARA is upon us or something like that.
Man, shucks. Woo! You see, this is enough to make you say, hallelujah!
Yes.
Throw up your hands and start, shouting for real. Mm-hmm. Just think. I mean, y'all out there hearing this, no more mortgage. Mortgage is
no more
discharged. No more credit card debt. No more car loan debt. Oh, my
And some people are experiencing that already. I just put up a post earlier this morning of a friend. This guy works in the military. I can't go into what he does, but he sent it to me in my inbox. He's like, you can use this as a testament to tell your people that over $100,000 of student loan debt of mine just mysteriously is reporting as paid in full.
Mm.
So he's like, I know. And so since he's a part of the military, he's like, and he's in a different classification in the military. So he was like, I know that NESARA is real because I'm experiencing it.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Mm-mm.
Number one, it zeroes out all credit card, mortgage, and other bank debt due to the illegal and unlawful banking and government practices of the central banking system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Number two, the National Economic Security Reformation Act abolishes income tax.
Mm.
Number three, it abolishes the IRS, and it creates a 14% flat rate non-essential new items only sales tax. So the only tax we will be receiving is sales, a 14% sales item tax on big ticket non-essential items.
Okay.
But it abolishes the IRS. Number four, it increases the benefits to senior citizens. So senior citizens that are now receiving Social Security benefits, they're going to receive exponentially more money than they receive now. Number 5, it returns us to constitutional law, to all courts and legal matters, because as my friend Taj taught me, I think he's called Taj Dynamite Bay. People might want to look him up on Facebook because he's a really deep brother.
Are you talking about Taj El Bay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not Taj Tariq El Bay, not that guy. Not the Grand Sheik.
I'm thinking the Grand Sheik. Okay.
Not the Grand Sheik. Which I have met him, and I ran this stuff by him when he came to Louisville, Kentucky, and I was out of the state. I was in California, and I told my son, I said, I need to talk to him, put him on speaker, and tell him I need to. He goes into in depth about Moorish law.
Right.
I need to run this past him about NESARA, about the global currency reset, and about returning to the gold standard, about how the Washita Empress demanded that we be classified as the oldest indigenous people of the planet and be returned $85 quadrillion. I need to run this past him. Is this true? Can you confirm this for me, my brother? And he said yes.
Wow.
And I said, well, what do I have to do to get my money? Because, they calling me black. And black, according to the Black's Law Dictionary, which is what they use in law, means pale, blank, bleak,
right,
void,
exactly.
and all that.
No standing in law.
No standing in law. And I know that is not an ethnicity or nationality, but it's a legal status. So I don't want to be called black because my original status was white because my people own the land, and white means pure and prosperity according to their law. So, they all confused here now, brother. What's going on?
Okay. Oh, shucks.
And he said, I said, what am I going to do to get my money? Because I'm indigenous. And he said, you don't have to do a thing. And everything you're saying is true. And when we return to the gold standard and a global reset occurs, all those people, everybody's going to be considered sovereign, and everybody in this country is going to have their wealth returned to them, including the indigenous people or the people who are classified as Black Americans or African American. I said, thank you. I just wanted my confirmation. God bless you. And may he be with you during the rest of your speech. Goodbye.
Calm down, Red Wing. I see my brother in Memphis. Calm down, Doc. It's gonna be all right. Oh my goodness. Yes. Whew, man.
So it's important that point 5, return us to constitutional law, happens because we've been using admiralty law. We've been using a banking system. They've been accessing our bonds when we go to court. And giving you a charge so they can access your bond. And as Taj taught me, the judges are not really judges; they're administrators.
That's right.
See, I didn't know all this.
That's right.
They're administrators, and all of the judges. And it'll get one of the points I'll come down to in a few minutes is that all the attorneys and judges have to be retrained in constitutional law because they pass a bar, which is what the British Associated Registry, which means they work for the Queen, and not the American people.
That's right.
Which, by the way,
British Accreditation Registry. That's what it is.
Oh, British Accreditation. Thank you.
Yes.
The bar. So, and some of them that say Esquire behind their name and they serving in Congress, they got to be taken down because, as Taj taught me, and as the Moors would tell you, you cannot have a title of nobility and serve the American people. That's unconstitutional.
Wow. That's right.
Because is a title of nobility.
That's right. Because actually, you're working for the Queen.
You're working for the Queen. And I don't know if you can look up this when you get a chance, how Donald Trump went to the Queen and she ushered him in front of her. That's a no. You never do that. That's
right.
A no-no.
That's right.
And then when he went to inspect the guards, which is protocol. Usually the Queen inspects her guards. Those guards was United States military. Why was the United States military on the Queen's lawn? Why did she usher him in front of her? That
does not happen. No.
Unless he's taking power away from her. and redirecting it back to the American people.
Mm-hmm. Girl, I got all kind of texts coming in here tonight. My dear brother, who's the owner of Shea Water, Lee Putney, he said, please ask her about the documentary Fall Cabo.
Yes, I saw it. That's a great documentary. Yes, please. Mm-hmm. Everybody should watch that. Fall Cabal, Cabal.
Yeah, mm-hmm. She said she's speaking 100% truth. Yeah, you got folk lit up tonight.
Thank you, brother. Yeah. Appreciate the confirmation. I really do. It affirms me and it encourages me.
Oh, man. Oh, my goodness.
We're only on 0.5. I want to get through this.
No, go ahead. Good. Listen, this is my station. You can go as long as you want. Okay. Go ahead. All right, go right ahead. Or we can come back and do a part 2, whatever. But we definitely gonna have you back on some more. Because, like I said, you've done extensive research in this. I have not. And I don't mind saying I don't know. Let me get somebody who does know. And so I honor you. I honor your research on this.
Thank you, brother.
Oh yeah. But go ahead. Point number 5 you left off with.
Number 5, returns constitutional law to all courts and legal matters. And it should say lawful matters because there's a difference between what's legal and what's lawful.
That's right.
What's legal, right?
That's right. So
legal, true. Right. Mm-hmm. What's legal is what it has been determined as what's right according to the statutes and codes of the United States Corporation.
Mm-hmm.
But what's lawful is what is mandated by the Constitution for the United States of America.
Okay, and while you're on that, describe the difference between the two again. We have 2 constitutions, in other words, right?
We have the Constitution of OF, the United States of America Incorporated, or of the United States of America Corporation. So the Constitution of the United States is different from the Constitution for the United States of America.
Okay. Now, which one was first? 4.
Yes, sir. 4. For the Republic, for which it stands.
And it's deep. Even as children, we were taught, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the Republic for which it stands. We've been saying that all this time.
All these years. Yes, sir. So that's what's lawful. So, but what's legal is what's determined by the Constitution of the United States Corporation. Those statutes and codes. Everybody has statutes of limitation, this statute, that code. And there's so many of them. You don't even know what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
They trip you up. They create stuff to, just when you think you found a way out, they create something to stop you and cut you off.
Mm-hmm.
It's just.
And it's interesting because the definition of a statute, according to Black's Law Dictionary, is something that has been mutually agreed upon. So I'm saying, I was telling brother a few weeks ago, how are the statutes for the state of Georgia going to apply to me? I didn't agree to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Shucks. So how you gonna apply this to me? You got folk going wild tonight. My dear brother Ed Bachman, he gonna be doing some research tonight. Yeah, and he ain't the only one. I'm gonna be doing it myself too. Oh yeah.
That's awesome. If you need any videos, I try to download some of them, just in case you needed some.
Okay. Well, we'll get all that out there because we're gonna do this again. We're gonna talk about this some more. You can believe that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, but I keep interrupting you. You left off on point 5.
Okay, let me get back. I was trying to find that House resolution that audits or dismantles the IRS, but we'll find that one later.
I was trying to find that too. I Googled dismantling the IRS House resolution. Nothing came up. I shouldn't say nothing came up.
What about?
A lot of stuff come up, but I'm actually looking for the House resolution number.
What about audits the IRS?
Okay. Audits. the IRS House resolution. A whole lot of stuff came up. I'm still not seeing the number.
HR 25. House Resolution 25.
Okay.
That might be it.
House, what does this see here? House passes a reform bill county today. Audits records. Yeah, here it is. Text. HR 25. 116th Congress. It was just done, 2019-2020.
Okay.
It's called the Fair Tax Act of 2019. Wow.
So, because it's an unlawful entity, everything that people have paid to the IRS is going to eventually come back to them. And you don't have to write a letter, which I had instructed my son to write a letter, and he got his back within 2 weeks. But my friends were like, it's happening, kid, what you said about that. And we didn't write a letter. And my sister got her money back. So that was just for this year. But whatever you've paid over your lifetime is supposed to come back to you. And if your money was confiscated to pay off a student loan debt, or because your student loans defaulted or whatever, the United States Treasury Department is going to refund that to you. Now, if you want to expedite that, like if your money was taken by the IRS this year and you want to expedite that, write a letter to the United States Department of Treasury and say, my money was taken unlawfully during the worldwide or global pandemic, and I am suffering as a result of this. I mean, use what they created to your advantage. Because of this worldwide pandemic and the mandated social distancing, I am struggling and I need my money back.
Wow.
One thing Taj taught me, my brother that's in war, is the pen is mightier than the sword. And, honey, I would use that pen to cut some people up. Yes.
Oh, God. My brother in Memphis, he just texted something, but because he's a pastor, I'm not going to read out loud what he wrote. Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah. Look at this. Look at this. The repeal of income tax, payroll taxes, and estate and gift taxes. Oh, my goodness, girl.
I used to be a credit repair specialist, and I was so excited about the power of the pen that I didn't charge anybody. I would just write these letters that say, prove that this debt belongs to me by sending me the original contract with my wet ink signature. And if you can't prove that it belongs to me, then according to the law, you must take this off my credit report. And it would be removed, and people were able to buy houses and cars. That's how. Now, see, this is why I say stop complaining, stop talking about racism, discrimination, hate, blah, blah, blah. Look, there's always a ram in the bush. There's always a way out. There's always a way to create your reality. There's always a remedy. Find the remedy. Instead of saying, I can't, say, how can I? And when you say, how can I, then the Creator, the ancestors, the Spirit, the Holy Ghost, however you want to see it, the Galactic Federation, your higher self, your higher state of consciousness, somebody, the Holy Ghost,
all right, now.
Speaking in tongues, fire back, whoever you want to call it. The angel, Michael, Raphael, Jesus, black baby Jesus born in the manger, white baby Jesus, I don't care. Mary, Martha, somebody.
As long as I get my money,
help you find a solution. Somebody gonna help you find a solution, but you have to have an abundance mentality and not the mentality of a slave, always complaining, being victimized, always wanting a handout. No, create your reality.
Teach. Oh, you on it today. You gonna make me raise an offering for Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah. Wow.
So I want to continue to raise our vibrations, because while people are complaining, I'm not working, the economy is shutting down, look at the goodness let's look at the goodness of the Lord, of the Messiah, of the Creator. What the Creator's doing behind the scenes.
You know, it just came to me. I think it came earlier, but it's coming back in my head. That passage, you meant evil against me, but God meant it unto good. You know, that's what I'm seeing through. You making me take a whole nother perspective on what's going on here at this present time in our society. You know.
Yes, sir. And what's that scripture that says that the wealth of the wicked is laid up
for the righteous? Yes.
Laid for the righteous. So while now a lot of people don't know that on December 21st, 2017, Donald Trump created an executive order freezing the assets of all the people that were involved in human sex trafficking, child sex trafficking, treason, and crimes against humanity. So your Rothschilds, your Rockefellers, your Oprah Winfreys, all these idols we have, your Ellen DeGeneres, who right now they're all on lockdown. That's why Oprah canceled all of her things that she's doing for the year, because she got an ankle bracelet around her leg because she participates, according to my intel, in child sex trafficking, and that's not a stretch of an imagination when you remember that people in her school was bringing up accusations against her years ago. Those girls were missing, and they were being abused. Why? Because she's a friend of Weinstein and Epstein, and she's been on his island several times, along with Ellen DeGeneres, along with Tom Hanks, along with Madonna, and a lot of these high-profile NFL folks and NBA athletes, entertainers, congressmen, congresswomen, a lot of them participate. And when the shutdown happened, if you look on their Instagram and they post, their adrenochrome ran out because they kill babies. They offer their children to Molech, just like the Bible told them not to do. They still doing it. Offer their children to Satan. Offer other children, people's children that they traffic. They kill them. They drink the blood, and the blood gives them a high. It makes them look young. If you look up adrenochrome now, it will come up.
Wow.
That it's the blood of children and that these entertainers ingest it. But if you look at their Instagram accounts now, they look horrible because they don't have their adrenochrome, and they're crying and they're miserable, a lot of them. And or they came down with the coronavirus, which is just code word for I'm on lockdown and I can't get out of my house. Now, we were mandated to stay in our house for social distancing purposes. They were mandated, and a lot of them have ankle bracelets.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
I know because my good friend Isaac Cappy was killed, and we believe that he was killed by Tom Hanks, who was a huge pedophile. Sarah Ruth Ashcroft on Instagram has been talking about how her parents trafficked her to Tom Hanks and some of the elite in Hollywood, and they tried to shut her down. My friend Isaac Cappy was a B-list Hollywood actor, and he's brought out a lot about Pizzagate and Pedalgate and how Hollywood actors and presidents and all these people that were on Epstein's Island was raping and molesting children and selling them and sacrificing them. People in the Illuminati, the musicians, how they have sex with their children. I mean, you can look and see Will Smith trying to force his child to kiss him, and it was some young guy, somebody Brown, was out talking about how Will Smith was his real daddy and how he raped them, and they tell you how Diddy rapes children. And I don't mean to upset people about their idols, but a lot of these people are nefarious.
Yeah. So you got folk hollering teach through the text message like they can hear you. So I'm gonna say it for them. A friend of mine just said teach.
Thank you. Thank you.
You got
Bill Gates.
Oh yeah.
Who spoke at the Bilderberg Population Conference and said the way we can decrease the population is through immunizations. Don't immunize your family. Now, I'm not a doctor, but be careful what you allow your children to be put in.
That's right.
So a lot of their assets, including the Rothschilds, have been frozen, and it was frozen through executive order on December 21st, 2017. And those assets were frozen, and a lot of that money, along with the gold that's in the Grand Canyon and the gold that was created by the St. Germain Trust. Please look up Saint, S-A-I-N-T, Germain, G as in gorilla, E-R-M-A-I-N Saint-Germain, I believe that is, Saint-Germain Trust. Saint-Germain was an alchemist who reincarnated through many eras, many different generations. He came back, and he was an alchemist who could make gold out of any element. He created a trust stored with a lot of gold.
I'm looking at it right now. Saint Germain's World Trust.
That World Trust will also back up the gold currency, the gold money, when we have the global currency reset, along with Zimbabwe and African gold. So, and it's beautiful because a lot of my people in the Intel community are actually Europeans and Caucasians. Most of them are. Because black people think I'm crazy. They call me coon, white supremacist. I hate my race. I'm stupid. I'm crazy. I'm what you call that? They came up with all kind of names. But a lot of my Intel friends are actually Caucasians, and they have shared with me that they think it's beautiful that Zimbabwe and some of the other African countries and African elders have agreed to liberate the planet using their gold. And that is what the Black Panther was about in the deleted scene when he said, I'm going to use my vibranium.
Yeah.
To liberate the planet.
That's exactly what he said. Yep. Wow.
So, the wealth of the wicked has been laid up or stored away for the just. That's the word.
Girl, you got me so messed up here. I done got all hung up in my power cords and everything. Oh my goodness! But actually, on the Saint Germain's Trust Google search, it also talks about the NESARA announcements expected, and
now they was expecting it, years ago, and every year the people were like hopeful, like, is it gonna come this year? Is it gonna come? But it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense to release NESARA, or for people to exchange their exotic currencies, or to get to exchange, the people that have all these lawsuits against the United States corporation. It wouldn't make sense for any of us to have our wealth if we're not sovereign.
Right. Exactly.
Because it doesn't make sense to have all our wealth given to us if these nefarious beings are over the banking system.
That's right.
Your CEOs of the banks are a part of the deep state that work against us.
Yeah.
Now, they have to be arrested and judged, and either judged, put in prison, or executed, whatever is decided for their treason and crimes against humanity, or else they would have stolen our wealth again and re-empowered themselves. So, people were like, when is it going to happen? It's going to happen after the corporations and these entities are totally disempowered.
I got you.
Okay.
And again, I want to emphasize this point. So, again, Donald Trump is a major player in making that happen.
Exactly. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And see, one of my sons, at first he was like, when I was talking about it, and I need to say I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, because they say that, it doesn't matter which wing you say you're on, it's still the wing of the same bird or something like that. Right,
that's right. Yeah. Whether you're on the left wing or right wing, it's still the same bird.
Same bird. And so when I first started, because my son would tell me, Mom, you hear about what they say about Donald Trump? He's a racist. I said, well, he said he's a nationalist. I said, that's the mainstream media. You have to show me what they're saying about him. I said, oh, they're saying that nationalism is equivalent to white nationalists. I said, he never said I'm a white nationalist. He said I'm a nationalist. A nationalist is a person who loves their nation. What the heck? You love your own country.
That's all a nationalist is. Yep, that's true.
So I was like, you're going to have to come up with something, his different friends. Y'all have to come up with something better than that. Well, he's misogynistic. I said, okay, well, we live in a patriarchal society. A lot of men are. So, so what does that have to do with him taking down the deep state?
Right.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying.
I got you. Yeah.
And once the lecturer started talking to me and I started doing my research, I was like, well, he was recruited because he's eccentric.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't care what you think about him.
You got that right. He sure doesn't.
Speak his mind, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He speaks in codes.
Mm-hmm.
People think that he's misspelling words, but when you understand gematria, which is a coded language that the elite speak, you understand that he's not he's the president of the United States, the, greatest country in the world. You really think he's misspelling? Like, people need to, think.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, use your critical thinking skills.
Yeah.
He's using, a lot of times, those words, like when he talked about hamburgers and hot dogs, what he was doing, he was actually poking at how the presidential administration before him had ordered hamburgers and hot dogs, or hamburgers and hot dogs at the White House, which is code word for little boys and girls.
Oh, my goodness.
You can even look up hamburger, and it will tell you what it means.
And how is that spelled, like hamburger, or is it spelled differently?
Hamberder, I believe it is. Hamberder. Hamburger. And I think it'll say something like Urban Dictionary code for. We need to stop being so caught up on somebody's skin complexion and crayon color. Because look, I love the president that was before Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I love what he stood for, what I thought he stood for. But, some of the things he allegedly was involved in, it really depends on what you believe, because some people say he's a part of deep state, and some people say he was a double agent.
Okay.
So if you're a double agent, you pretend to be involved, right?
Yes,
in order
of course.
to
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's why I just keep my mouth shut. I never get on my platform. I don't know.
I got you.
Now, I have heard that his mother is who's the Nazi? The Nazi, Adolf Hitler's daughter. And so is Angela Merkel, is Adolf Hitler's daughter, and their sisters.
Okay.
And I need to say here that after the war, I think it was World War II, a lot of Nazis actually came to America and infiltrated our government and our school system and every aspect of society.
It's interesting you're saying that, because I think it was just within the last 48 hours I was doing some reading and read an article that was saying that Barack and Bush were cousins. Mm-hmm. And I said, whoa. And, of course, at the time, I didn't have time to really delve more into it. But it was explaining how they were related, and, of course, yeah. And it took my mind back to a lecture I did, the Bloodline Conspiracy in World Affairs. From Philip of Macedonia, okay, all the way up to the present. I said, wow, look at this. Mm-hmm.
They're related. But Donald Trump is not related to them. And as my son started doing research, because he would tell me what the mainstream media was saying about Donald Trump, and I was like, I think we need to go deeper. He said he did his research and he realized that Donald Trump was a part of the elite, that the nefarious people, they wouldn't let him in their club. And he's a whole different elite group. They're not in the part of the same club. He's not related to them. He would have a bone to pick with them if he's not really a part of that, like the bloodline.
Right.
He was friends with JFK Jr. And remember, JFK Jr. His daddy wanted to dismantle the central banking system anyway.
Right, exactly. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Which is why they killed him.
That's why they killed JFK. Exactly. Yep.
So it makes sense to me that he was recruited. to take down.
Did you finish reading those points?
No. Let me go. Okay. Number 5 returns constitutional law to all courts and legal matters. The point number 6 establishes new presidential and congressional elections within 120 days after NESARA's announcement. Ooh. So what's going to happen is after Donald Trump dismantles. And remember, Donald Trump people think, oh, the president shouldn't act like this, the president shouldn't act like that. Well, he's the president of a corporation. So,
which he's very used to being.
Exactly.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So he's going to most likely come down with the ship because he's going to dismantle them, step down, and then someone else will step in to represent the republic, the newly restored republic. And then after that person steps in, 120 days after that, we're going to have lawful, fair presidential and congressional elections to run our republic. And point 7 monitors elections and prevents illegal election activities of special interest groups.
Okay. All right.
Number 8, it will create a new United States Treasury currency, money. They call it currency. But I saw an example of it, and it was beautiful. Now, I don't know if this is what they're going to use, but it's a rainbow currency, a rainbow money. But it's gold back and it has gold and silver encrusted on it. Uh-huh. So it's going to create new United States money backed by gold, silver, platinum, and other precious metals. Number 9, it initiates a new United States Treasury banking system in alignment with constitutional law.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to say that Donald Trump, he said that he wanted to revise the Dodd-Frank Act because the Dodd-Frank Act, it's a document that's hundreds of pages long, so that people won't read it. But anyway, there was a backdoor that allowed banks to steal people's money or take their money and invest it in the stock market system, in the stock market. And what Donald Trump did, he said he wanted to put forth something to close that gap or to not allow banks to do that any longer. Mm-hmm. So he reordered or restructured the Dodd-Frank Act. So
how you spell that?
DODG Dodd-Frank FRANK.
Yep, there it is, Dodd-Frank Act. It says Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act. Girl, go ahead. Mm-hmm. And it's Dodd, D-O-D-D. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you,
Dodd-Frank.
Nope. Okay, Dodd, okay. I need to write that down.
Dodd-Frank.
Let's see where I was.
Wow.
And also, and I remember when I first found this out, I went to my bank. At the time, it was Wells Fargo, and I asked them, "Are you Basel III and Basel IV compliant?"
Okay.
And they were like, "What do you know about compliancy? Like, we don't talk to our customers."
Are you there? Did I lose you? I heard a click. I hope I didn't lose you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm back.
Okay.
So I asked them if they were Basel III and Basel IV compliant. And basically, the compliancy means that they have to use gold as the standard. There was some compliancy that put restrictions on them, like how much, put restrictions on them in terms of not being able to steal our money or use our money to circulate it on the New York Stock Exchange or trade on the stock exchange. So that's important. That's something that Donald Trump pushed forward.
Wow.
Bank compliancy. And by the way, I don't know if it'll say it. I don't see that. It's also a part of NESARA is to implement a new banking system called the quantum financial system.
Okay.
The quantum financial system is a system that was actually given to us by the Galactics. It will be monitored by the Galactics. Let me see if I can find it.
That's interesting because I was coming up as Quantum Financial System Trump.
See why they hate him? They do not want him. The quantum financial system will not allow the banks to steal money. It monitors every single transaction so that people aren't using the money to buy and trade women and buy and trade children. This is why he wanted to put up the wall in Mexico, because, as I may have told you before, a lot of people were coming actually from the Middle East. A lot of your Arabs that were in these certain brotherhoods were masquerading like they were Mexicans, and they were crossing the border, and some Mexicans, and they were crossing them, and MS-13 members. And I live in California. I could tell you about the gang violence by the MS-13 members. Breaking in houses, brutally murdering people. And Donald Trump said it. People say, oh, he's racist. He's talking against the Mexicans. I'm like, I'm Mexican. Well, I thought I was. When I did my lineage, I found I was Colombian. Okay. But anyway, I'm like, I'm Mexican. I don't think the man is racist. I live here in California. I see, and we know when you live there, that Mexicans and people who were masquerading as Mexicans were coming across the border and bringing children which did not belong to them and trafficking those children. Wow. And when people were saying, oh, he's separating the parents from the children, and they were like, when they said that, he said, I'm creating an executive order today to mandate that children stay with the parents until we do a serious investigation to figure out what's truly going on and if these children belong to the parents. But people didn't read that.
Yeah, see, and again, we listening to the media instead of doing our verifying for ourselves. Here says the quantum financial system, which is an advanced financial system launched to eradicate the cabal and banksters' monopoly on the monetary system. And for that purpose, a system comprises of artificial intelligence and complex computer programs fully backed by banks. Wow.
And that's what's being implemented right now while your banks are shut down.
Okay.
You don't need to be going inside the bank while they're doing training and implementing these complex systems, putting in new De La Rue machines to verify currencies. You know what I'm saying.
And that's actually Executive Order 13772. It's called the Core Principles for Regulating the United States Financial System. It's Executive Order.
You see why they want to keep people thinking about racism and hatred and I hate whitey and black people this.
I got you, girl. I got
you.
And
the Mexicans and I'm a feminist and I hate men and I can do everything by myself and I'm a man going my own way. I'm MGTOW and forget I'm a what they call them what's it called? Sugar baby? Y'all ain't no sugar baby. Y'all Splendor baby. Y'all don't get no real money out of dollars. I know some real sugar babies.
Okay. All right.
You know.
Oh, my goodness.
To destroy the family and destroy your mind so that you don't know about all these beautiful things that the Creator and our galactic brothers and sisters want the Earth to join the Federation. The Federation is comprised of many, many different galactic beings and planets, but Earth vibrations was so low that we was affecting the universe and the multiverse. So they had to come and do something to help us.
Wow.
And by the way, when we ascend into consciousness, which I want people to look up, Mark, M-A-R-K, is it Mark? Mark dash Krishon, Krishon, Christopher, on YouTube. I think that's his name. He has a video where he explains.
That's it. Mark Krishon Christopher. Yep.
I believe he's a galactic being. Something in my spirit tells me he's a galactic being. And when I asked my mentor, I said, what do you think about him? The first thing he said is he's a part of the Galactic Federation. I said, okay. I mean, if he's not, he's a totally different type of individual. He talks about how Corona is really about gold. And he talks about how we're going to ascend in our consciousness, how it's about ascending in your consciousness. I can't remember which one. It'll probably say something about Corona.
Mm-hmm.
So people need to see that.
He's got several videos here.
And he also has one that talks about, that says all debts are forgiven. And he, like, mandates all debts, I hereby declare them as forgiven. And he tells you why. And I see that as NESARA. Mm-hmm. And he speaks to the cabal like, I'm telling you by the authority that I have that all debts are hereby be forgiven, but you won't be forgiven because you never asked for forgiveness. And that brought me to the scripture that said that if you offended somebody, you are supposed to ask them for forgiveness.
Right.
Otherwise, how can I forgive you?
That's right.
So he said, I'm not forgiving you. You're not. I condemn you. And he just goes deep into it. But I think people need to see those two videos particularly, because once all this is done on this planet and is completely purged and cleansed, we will meet our mentor or our guardian angel. Some people call them a guardian angel. They will take us, and it will take us through the light chamber. And when we go through the light chamber, we will receive our crystalline bodies. And when we receive our crystalline bodies, come on, scripture, speak to me, you receive a new body.
Okay.
When you receive your crystalline body, you won't need to eat, you won't need to drink, like you just absorb energy like our galactic brothers and sisters on other planets. And we'll reverse an age, and we will live a life full of joy, love, and peace, and it will be a heaven. I, John, saw a new heaven and new earth descending.
Yeah.
Yes. This is what we're going to experience, and this only happens after Satan has been chained, and this is what's going on right now. Satan, Lucifer, Baal, Molech, whatever you want to call those entities, have been chained and taken off the planet, and the portals closed. And when you understand that the Dallas airport and other airports were actually portals where, you can go and escape to different realities, that stuff is real. You can even look up Dallas or airports being a portal. But they've been closed. So we're going to have a new reality. And my brother Mark, Krishan Christopher talks about corona, meaning gold, your crown chakra, ascending in consciousness. That's why I say turn off mainstream media. Stop watching, if you watch movies, watch them using discernment.
Right, exactly. Yes, learn how to see.
Learn how to see. Okay, let me get back.
I was going to say, did you finish that list?
Okay, now we're on 9.
Okay,
yes. Initiates new United States Treasury banking system in alignment with constitutional law. Number 10, eliminates the Federal Reserve System. Number 11, so the Federal Reserve System is a credit-based system instituted by the Rothschilds and other people, but it was created, again, to monitor the gold in the Grand Canyon. And that once they did that, they put us on the fiat system. Okay?
And for those out there who don't know, fiat means to bring into existence from nothing. That's what the word means, and that's what they've been doing by printing up this money. Print fiat money. It's just like no different than monopoly money. They're just printing money out on paper, and it's not money. It's just currency.
And just currency. It used to be a receipt for the gold that was held.
Right. Exactly.
By the banks.
Yeah. In fact, it used to actually say this can be redeemed as legal tender. They don't say that anymore on the money. Of course, in silver, yeah. In fact, it used to be called a silver certificate.
Wow.
The dollar. Now it's called a Federal Reserve note.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Eliminates the Federal Reserve System. Something I was thinking about that, I can't remember. Restores financial privacy. So, with your quantum financial system, only you as the individual that owns your account can access your money and access your ledger and your account. Nobody will be able to hack into your account. So the quantum financial system is hack-proof. When this happens, when the quantum financial system is implemented, it's going to be monitored they say it's AI or the Galactic Federation. And the reason why I monitor is to make sure that the legislature is doing any nefarious activities with them. But you will have retrain all judges and attorneys in constitutional law. So these people that call themselves lawyers become lawyers and attorneys because they're not practicing law. Okay. They're an attorney. So they all need to be retrained. They can either agree to be retrained or not serve. Number 13, ceases all aggressive United States government military action worldwide, which is why Donald Trump started back home. Because, again, 209 countries behind the scenes agreed to worldwide and planetary peace. Now, we might have some that are still abroad, but he did bring some home, and eventually there will be no aggressive action.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, shucks.
Mm-hmm. Number 14, establishes peace throughout the world. Number 15, it initiates first phase of worldwide prosperity distribution of vast wealth, which has been accumulating for many decades. This law requires that the farmers' claims to be paid first before the general public receive their funds.
All right, because they initiated this thing.
Because they initiated it. So you have claims, oh, God, what do you call these claims? You have all different type of claims. Your indigenous people claims, the claims for the people who the Washita Empress initiated. CMX, I think is called, claims. Farmers' claims. All these claims against the banking system in the United States corporation that these claims that were implemented, and these people won their lawsuits, but this will only happen, like you said, after the farmers' claims because they initiated all this. Now, what is the worldwide prosperity that will be distributed? Oftentimes, Donald Trump says there are trillions of dollars of private funds that will be implemented to fix the infrastructure in America. And people laugh, he's talking about printing money. No, pay attention. On December 24th, 2017, Donald Trump initiated, I just signed the No Counterfeiting Money Act. Merry Christmas. And so what he did was he stopped the printing presses. So there's no counterfeiting money that's circulating, no counterfeiting money that's going to be part of these private funds that will be used for the infrastructure. The private funds, some people were a part of these global settlements, different humanitarian programs in the 90s and early 2000s. Some people were recruited into these programs. My mentor is one of them. And what they were told, they had to submit all their documents, their birth certificate, they had to do a clearance, get their records checked, and they were told they could be a part of these humanitarian efforts to create programs to feed the hungry, take care of the homeless, fix up the infrastructure. And even Donald Trump talked about diverting funds to the urban communities to fix up the infrastructure. And again, people in the mainstream media, oh, my God, he's just trying to take over the black neighborhoods. He gave lots of money to California and lots of money to Baltimore, which really looked like a rat hole. I have people from there. Excuse me, I shouldn't say that. It has a lot of issues. But what did Cummings and the governors do? They took the funds that he gave and his administration gave and diverted it to themselves. Okay. That's why there was an issue with some of these governors. And they said, oh, he's racist. No, they didn't do what they were told to do with the money.
Okay.
So,
again, that's what happens when we listen to the media. Oh, my goodness.
Keep in mind when some people come down with the COVID-19 or coronavirus, a lot of it is really true. But some of these celebrities and congressmen and congresspeople, we understand that it most likely from the intel that I get from the military is a lot of them actually are arrested. It's like a signal or code to let us know that these people are under surveillance or have been arrested. And by the way, I had a list of all the people, a lot of people who were on the notable resignation list. And I had published that in 2017, 2018, and 2019, but the link's been taken down. These were banking CEOs, Congress people, people in Hollywood, like millionaires, billionaires, who were either forced to step down or resign, especially banking CEOs, or were suicided. And a lot of them actually went to the military tribunals. And I verified this by going to C as in cat, dash vine, like a vine on a tree, VINE.com. And there were military tribunals right there. And I would try to tell people military tribunals have been going on since January the 1st, 2019. I'm looking at them. You're a liar. You don't know what you're talking about. You're what you call it, a theory, what you call them, the conspiracy theorists. You're a white supremacist. I'm like, oh, God, you're a coon. I was like, all you got to do is go to the freaking website.
Yeah,
okay, sorry.
I'm there now. C-Vine.com. Community Voices, Investigations, News, Education. Yeah.
Okay, I'm almost done. So these people that were a part of these humanitarian programs, what they were told is you can take a percentage of that for yourself because they were found worthy, but you have to use like 80% of these humanitarian aids to create humanitarian projects. And then you also have people who have investments like in exotic currencies. So a lot of those people will create humanitarian projects. And when you do, and even you all that once you come into wealth, because all of you will, and I'm going to make that my last point of Nisara. When you create those humanitarian projects, you will receive help from, what is that? Security. What's the security? Is it the NSA? What's the security that we have in the country?
National Security Agency? Is that what you're talking about?
I think that's it. But Homeland Security. Homeland
Security. Okay.
Homeland Security will provide you security when you create those humanitarian projects to help people. So you'll be good because you're going to have wealth. Let's see. Donald Trump talks about those private funds coming to build up the infrastructure, but people think he's crazy. They say, where does money going to come from? You're just printing money. No, I stopped the printing presses by executive order December 24th. He even tweeted about it, but, that went over some people's heads. 16 releases enormous sums of money for humanitarian purposes. 17 enables the release of new technologies such as free energy devices, pollution cleanup, and sonic healing machines. So a lot of new technology to make our lives easier that has been suppressed. And even med beds. You can look up med beds on YouTube. Med beds is a bed that you get into. It detects all of your illnesses and heals them.
Wow.
That's been suppressed. And the final point is that each person in the United States, according to the National Economic Security Reformation Act, and globally, according to the Global Security and Reformation Act, will receive $100,000 each month for a certain amount of years. Some people say 11 years, some people say more, into a non-interest-bearing account. Each individual will receive at least $100,000. One of my mentors told me that we'll each receive $20 million in order, along with all of our debts being discharged, in order to make up for the nefarious behavior and unlawful banking practices of the banks, lending us money. They weren't supposed to lend us anything. When we were all born, we had a birth certificate, which they actually created into a bond and circulated on a New York Stock Exchange.
That's right.
And made
a
bunch of money. Millions, and maybe even more than millions. That money is going to come back to us. So that, let me tell you what happens when you sign a document for your student loan or a car loan. What that signature is actually doing is giving them permission to access your birth certificate bond to pay themselves And these nefarious people then come after you and say you owe us a debt. So then they pay themselves out of your birth certificate bond, and they come after you.
Yep. Wow.
So when we sign our signature, we're creating money, and we're giving them access.
That's right.
We're actually making them the power of attorney, too, and we don't even know that.
That's true. That's right. That's the power of your signature. That's right.
Now, when all this comes out, after the NESARA is announced, and NESARA is going to announce, it might come through through the presidential emergency broadcast system on our phones. When this is announced, people are going to be upset. Some people are going to feel liberated, but some are they're going to have, they want to take these people to court, right? Everybody's going to want to go to court, but in order to offset that, they're just going to give us money. Just give everybody about $20 million because they've been wrongfully done, and eradicate all their debt. Mm-hmm. And that puts everybody on a level playing field.
Yes.
And also, one of the benefits I forgot to write down was that all the treaties, including the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, which is our treaty, the Moors, the people classified as Black, the African American, the Negro, the colored, who are actually the indigenous people from America, who they said came from some slave ships in order to disinherit you from your land because they don't want you to know that America is originally yours. But even though the colonists wrote in their books, and I have excerpts from the colonists that said these people are Negroid and Africanoid people that we encountered, all of our treaties, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship included, which the Prophet Noble Drew Ali talked about, they will be honored. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you're back, baby. This will put us all on a level playing field. Mm-hmm. Whether you're yellow, white, black, purple, green, what I want to encourage my brothers and sisters, we know about all the inequalities, or some of the inequalities, and the
right
injustices that we've incurred. And we know what has been done to melanated people on the planet. What I'm saying, I'm not saying forget about it. I'm saying raise your vibration.
Yeah.
And the universe is going to, look, if you know science, you know the universe is going to take care of everything, and I'll leave it at that. There you go.
That's right. There you go. In fact, I just said to somebody, I think I may have said on my last live stream, the same God that's been taking care of everything for the last 4.5 billion years is got us now. So they don't need to freaking out. You don't need to,
You don't need to freaking out.
Yeah, you don't need to go through all that. Everything, hey, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. And now, see, you done broke down how it's going to be all right. So it's like, yeah. Oh, and by the way, those of you out there, somebody just asked to repeat that about the med bed, I believe. Just go to YouTube and Google it. I'm looking at it right now. Suppressed secret technology. Regenerating med beds. I guess med is short for medical. It's right here on YouTube, man. It's showing, wow.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, Dr. Hagins, somebody is saying, you're on fire, baby. I tell Brother Ray, I said, hi. Vernon in Javita, Brooklyn.
Oh, and Wells, up in African Village of Brooklyn, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
They tell you they love you and hello, and they appreciate the broadcast.
All right now. Yeah, I love them too. They're very special, powerful people up there in New York. They're holding up the standard of the village, and I love it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, my goodness. And did you get to your last point? I don't want to interrupt you.
No, I just want to say I think that is the gist of what I wanted to communicate tonight.
Okay.
Yes, of NESARA.
Well, sister, listen, I am so glad. That I heard of this from you. And like I said, man, my circle is a whole lot bigger right now.
Praise God.
Oh yeah, it's a whole lot bigger. I'm gonna be up a minute doing some more research. And in fact, my brother wrote back to me. I think he wrote it. I love white people now.
Yes.
Oh God, that's
love is a high vibration.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it sure is.
And you know what?
It sure is.
Now let me. let me say this, brother, and this might be a little controversial, but even people who classify as white or Caucasian, even they've been tricked and lied to.
Exactly. That's so true. That's so true.
They've been lied to. You're better. You're supreme.
Yeah, that's right. They've
these
been
people
lied
are
to.
beneath you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they hate you. They're African booty scratchers. I mean, you know what I'm... And by the way, Alex Haley, who came up with that movie, sued by a guy named Harold Corlander for plagiarism. And it was found that the people, the characters in his story, called The African, authored by Harold Corlander. And it's important to note because the mainstream media and the powers that were, not the powers that be, the powers that were, utilized roots to make people think that everybody was a slave. And everybody was not a slave.
Right.
Everybody did not come from the enslaved ship.
That's right, sis. Yeah, that is so correct.
But they'll keep these slave movies going.
Yeah.
And I don't know why black people who classify, I say people who classify as black, I got that from Dr. Francis Quest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's not your nationality, ethnicity, but people I don't know why we like being traumatized and run to slavery movies.
Yeah, and that's something.
I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't watch them no more. I just don't, because it's like, okay, there's a principle in the biblical text that says, therefore, leaving the principles of the foundation of the doctrines of Christ. In other words, when are you going to grow up? You know, why do you keep feeding your mind that mentality? You know, get away from that and move on. You know,
move on.
Yeah, move on.
And if you want to get yourself away from being marginalized, then now it's time for some think tanks.
There you go. You go. Yep.
What are we going to do economically? We're all about to be millionaires, all of us on the planet.
Ooh,
so redirect your mind.
Oh, yeah. Hi, sound all right to me.
The Galactic Federation.
Yeah. All right now.
And the Creator wants us to experience wealth.
All right.
Right?
You got it.
They want us to experience wealth because that's what the Creator created us for, to live our will that you, what was that scripture about? Abundance.
That you above all prosper, and is that what you're referring to? Be in good health?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even as your soul prospers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And one last thing, if people don't believe that children are being rescued right now, if you Google Operation Toussaint, Touissant. If you Google Operation Toussaint and Operation Underground Railroad, it's about how children right now are being rescued from child sex trafficking and deep underground military bases. And I do have a friend that's participating in that rescue right now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, right here.
And I think when that comes to light, that our children all over the planet have been
and that's a video on Amazon Prime about the children being rescued at Operation Toussaint and Operation Underground Railroad.
Oh, praise God!
Yeah,
and I think when that becomes to light, when because we're going to go through a period of disclosure, which is why the military released footage about UFOs recently. You can Google that, too. They released photos. They're trying to tell you that this is real. This is soft disclosure right now before they come straight out and say, before you meet your galactic, because you're going to meet your galactic brothers and sisters. This is another reason why you got to get rid of hatred for people that don't look like you. So you're going to have to learn to get along, because we're about to mingle with our galactic brothers and sisters.
I got
once
that.
they raise our consciousness.
I got that.
So how are you going to accept them and embrace them when you can't even embrace the human family? And I don't want to hear why people aren't human. I mean, unless you were there in the science lab or unless you were there with the Creator, I mean, give me some facts.
All right.
But right now, we all live on the planet together is my point.
I got you.
So let's try our best to let's just get along with everything that's in our power, and be beings of love and light, and let the Creator do his or her or its job. And I will end with that.
Sis, you have, I listen, as we say in church, you have blessed us tonight. In fact, my brother in Memphis, he texted, but I could hear him moaning, I love the Lord, he heard my cry. Oh, this has been so good. This has been so good, Dr. Pruitt.
Thank you, brother.
No, thank you.
My brother, you're welcome. And my brother just asked me to encourage people to get a book called White Cargo. And I'm assuming that that's probably about how even Caucasian people were enslaved. Now, people don't know that.
Right.
That the Moors enslaved the Caucasians.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what you get Slavics. The Slavics were
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right. That's right, yeah.
And a lot of the Moors enslaved the Caucasian women and made them their sex slaves.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, what goes around comes around. And we don't want to talk about that.
Yes.
So let's just
see, I got to do this because this brother here. Do you have a Cash App account?
I do not have Cash App.
Okay. All right. Do you have a PayPal account?
I do.
Okay. What is your PayPal address? And I got people out there that want to send you a donation.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. What's your PayPal address?
Okay, let me look it up. I haven't used it in a long time. And you know, I used to have Cash App, but it's not.
That's okay.
PayPal.
And if you can't pull it up, then people can just send it to me, and I will forward it to you. Their donations. But I'd rather just send it directly to you. So it would be your email address at PayPal.com. What's your email?
That's what it would be.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Kia Pruitt. Kia, K-I-A. K as in King, which my name does mean King and royalty.
Okay. Pruitt, P-R-U-I-T-T.
Yes, P as in pretty, R-U-I-T-T, at Gmail, gmail.com.
All right, at Gmail. Okay. Yep. Okay, family. In fact, Kia, how can people get in touch with you if they want to do so? Well, you just gave me your email address.
Kia Pruitt at gmail.com.
That's fine. I don't want to put your phone number out to the public like that.
Okay.
They can get you by email. Kia Pruitt. That's KIA. Pruitt at gmail.com. And again, I'm going to say that before I go off the air.
Okay.
Oh my God, girl, this has been, I have to say, this has been, if not the best show that I've had. It has been one of the most effective, informative, and empowering shows that I've had. And I thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to just share with us. And I know you got a lot more to say. I know you got a lot of stuff up in you, girl. I know you do. So we're going to do this again, definitely again. But we want to say thank you. And those of you out there who's listening, who want to join in with me, we're going to send Dr. Pruitt a donation from the Black Liberation Webcasting Network. And those of you out there who want to send it to her directly, please feel free to do so. Okay, again, her PayPal address is Kia Pruitt. Again, that's her email address, KIAPRUITT at gmail.com. Send her a donation, telling how much you really enjoyed and what you got from her tonight. Let's not be cheap, okay? Let's not do the wrong thing. I was taught that when you are blessed like this, then you bless the blesser. Okay, so let's say thank you in a very, very substantial way to our sister. If you don't have her PayPal, and you want to send it to Cash App, well, you can just send it to me, and then I will forward. But put a note in there for Dr. Pruitt, okay, so I can forward it to her. Yeah. Girl, I am so thankful. I'm so glad. It's an honor to know you. I mean, I knew you was a dynamic sister, you know.
Thank you.
But I didn't know you was this dynamic. My goodness.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Oh.
And I appreciate your audience even, as well, for giving me an opportunity to speak.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're going to be hearing more of you, that's for sure. Yeah,
okay.
We're going to put some stuff in place so that you can be blessed by what you're doing in a great way.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Oh. Sis, until next time. Okay. In fact, my phone is still going off here. Oh my goodness. In fact, okay. Tell the sister from Brother Botkin. Tell the sister thank you. Great information. God bless from Brother Ed Botkin. Yeah. Tonight has been great, Kia. Thank you so much, sis.
Thank you, Dr. Hagins.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you've been running your mouth for almost 3 hours. So go on and get.
I'm an air sign. So I'm a Libra. That's what we do.
Okay, good. We're going to get some rest. I love you and thank you so much for all you do. I
love you too.
Okay,
yes, sir.
And we'll be talking soon. All right. Give the family my regards here.
I will. I sure will.
Okay, sis. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, my goodness, family. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, man. Shucks. Woo. Hey, wasn't it good tonight? Wasn't it? Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, right. I know. I hear all y'all out there saying, oh, my goodness, yeah. Uh-huh. It was off the chain tonight, y'all. Yeah, Kia dropped it. She dropped it. And I'm so thankful for that sister for all that she is, Oh, my goodness. Okay, let's get back on point here with a little bit of Caravan of Love.